So, hello. So, this is the sequential function charts, part 7. So, now we are speaking here about particular structures. We are going to speak about the source and pit steps and the source and pit transitions. So, about the source transition, what is the source transition? The source transition, as you can see here, one example, doesn't have any preceding, what I call an input step, okay? So this chap is thinking about, so we have to be careful about the type of variable we use in this function. Why? Because it's very different to use this as it is by default validated. So if we use a variable like this, it's always being triggered, enabled. So we should use rising edges like this one, okay? We are going to see why in a while. So this is an example that you can find in the GRAFCET in this link here. We are going to see the demo. So every time you have to remember what is a rising edge. A rising edge, the variable, as you see here, A, like a switch, is a normally open constant. So when the variable changes between 0 and 1, this is the rising edge. And so every time this is true in this instance, we are going to have the transition, the step 2 enabled. Okay, so and regarding the source transition, the source transition is a source which doesn't have any succeeding output step. Okay, so this is an example, and also it's very common to use edges variables in these functions. Okay, in the clearance functions. So we are going to see an example about, so in the pit transition, we got an example also in the GRAFCET. So this is a way we can change to the GRAFCET and see. So the demo here, you can see if you change this, every time it changes, so it becomes true, okay? If it is not, of course. And the pit transition, every time we do this, in this case, the rising edge, we deactivate the step 2, okay? So we got this example, and I'm going to change from the presentation modes to make a demo. What is going on here? This example, we can see that in the first edge here, when we got the first rising edge of the variable A, what happens is we got the mark, the token in step 2, as you can see here. But because the next step, x5, is not activated, so not x5 is true, so this mark goes from this step to this step. And because x6 is not activated, x6 is not x6 is true, so it becomes true, activated the step 6. Okay? So in the next time A becomes activated, the same thing happens. 4 is activated, and straight away 5 is activated. But now, because 6 already has a mark, this is not true, so we got accumulation of 2 tokens here. This is a particular structure. So in the third rising edge, in this case, in this point here, we got the third token here, and in this instance, what happens? We got, so the 3 preceding steps from this synchronization of this junction and is true, and because these 4, the function is 1, so straight away we got this step 7 activated, and all these marks leave 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so this is an example, and we are going to continue to explain the source step and the source step. So it doesn't have any proceeding. As you can see, it doesn't have any proceeding transition. And this is, so the examples of the source step. How can it be activated? It can only be activated if it is the initial step. This is one of possibilities. The second one is if it is an enclosure, by an enclosure. So if this enclosure becomes active, of course, in the enclosure, the 8 becomes active. and by a forcing order. We got here a forcing order in the GRAFCET G2, and in this you force the step 8 to be active, okay? Step 8 becomes active, okay? And the pit step, as you can see, doesn't have any succeeding transition. So how does it get deactivated? That's the question. Once more, it can be activated only by a forcing order. For instance, in this from when this step becomes 12 becomes active, it forces in the GRAFCET 3 this pit step to be deactivated. Okay, this is one example, and the other is by an enclosure. Okay, so if the enclosure becomes deactivated, all the steps in the enclosure becomes deactivated as well. This is a particular thing that we are going to see in another video. Okay, so you can also see some examples here about these, some animations that you see here. Activation example, you can see here. So if I press this, the example continues, and can repeat it. And also from the pit step, this is the forcing order and the enclosure. Okay. And with this demo, I'm going to conclude this video, hoping that you enjoy it. Thank you for watching.